Welcome back with the next chapter 11, Transportation of Materials in Plants and Animals. All living organisms need a transport system to transport food, gases, minerals, salts, etc., which are required for normal functioning of the body and are essential for life. Plants and animals are the two main classification of living things. Within these two main kingdoms, all species need proper functioning of their body process to survive and grow. Among the most significant of the body process is the transport system, which supports all other body systems to function smoothly by supplying sufficient nutrients to the body of organism. In human and most of the multicellular animals, the transportation of nutrients is done by the circulatory system comprising of blood vessels that consist of arteries, veins, and capillaries, and at last heart. The movement of the blood from the heart to all parts of the body and back to the heart is called the circulation of the blood. In plants, the transportation of water, food takes place by xylem and phloem. Through that the process we call as diffusion and osmosis. What do you mean by diffusion? Diffusion refers to movement of gases or liquid from higher concentration region to that lower concentration region. Osmosis refers to the movement of water molecules from a weaker solution to a stronger solution through a semi-permeable membrane. So we discussed about that circulatory system in human. The circulatory system is the transport system in the human body which consists of a network of blood vessels that supplies food, water, oxygen throughout the body and removes the waste products from the body. The main part of the circulatory systems are blood vessels, heart. Components of the circulatory system. Circulatory system in human comprises of the blood vessels and the principal circulatory organ that we call as heart. First we discuss about that blood. Blood is a red liquid and a connective tissue which flows in blood vessels. It circulated throughout the body by the pumping of the heart. Blood performs several functions such as it transports digested food from small intestine to the other part of the body. It also carries oxygen from the lungs to the cells of the body. It also helps in regulating blood temperature. Blood consists of the plasma and blood cells, which we call as the fluid part and then the cell part. Plasma is a yellowish fluid and contain about 90% water. Plasma is a solution of mineral, waste product, digestive food, enzymes, etc. But what about that RBC? It is a part of that blood cells. Red blood cells appears to be a disc-like and the red blood color is due to the presence of hemoglobin. Hemoglobin combines with oxygen to give oxyhemoglobin which help in the transportation of oxygen. RBC are produced in the bone marrow and their lifespan is about 120 days. When red blood cells are delivered from the bone marrow into circulatory system, they normally circulate an average of 120 days before being destroyed. Next, WBC, white blood cells. White blood cells, also called leukocytes, are significantly at the part of the immune system. Leukocytes are found throughout the body, includes the blood, lymphatic system, and these cells help fight infection by attacking bacteria, virus, germs that will be invade the body. White blood cells originate in the bone marrow but circulate throughout the bloodstream. The five major types of WBC are neutrophils, lymphocytes, eosinophils, monocytes, and basophils. Last is platelets. Platelets are made up of bone marrow just like RBC. They are made smaller in size and have a lifespan of about 10 days. The main function of platelets is to help in clotting of the blood when we are injured. If blood does not clot, we would bleed to death. Hemoglobin. The red color of the blood is due to hemoglobin. It is a protein present in that RBC. Hemoglobin combines with oxygen to give oxyhemoglobin which help in the transportation of oxygen. And these RBC are produced on that bone marrow. The hemoglobin bind with oxygen and transport it to all parts of the body and ultimately to all the cells. It will be difficult to provide oxygen efficiently to all the cells of the body without hemoglobin. The presence of hemoglobin makes blood appear red. Blood vessels. Our body contains tube-like structure called the blood vessels that help in the transportation of blood throughout our body. Our body contains three types of blood vessels based on the function. They are arteries, veins, capillaries. The first one is arteries. The arteries are the blood vessels that carry oxygen-rich blood from the heart to the tissue of the body. Arteries also aid the heart in pumping blood. Each artery is a muscular tube lined by a smooth tissue and has three layers. The intima, the inner layer lined by smooth tissue called endothelium, the media, and the layer of muscles that let arteries handle the high pressure from the heart. And the last is adventitia, that is a connective tissue anchoring arteries to nearby tissue. The largest artery in the is that aorta and the main high pressure artery connected to the heart left ventricle. The aorta branches into that network of smaller arteries that extend throughout the body. The arteries are further divided into smaller branches called as arterioles and capillaries. The pulmonary arteries carries oxygen pure blood from the heart to the lungs under low pressure. Veins. In the circulatory system, veins are the blood vessels that carry blood towards the heart. Most veins are deoxygenated blood from the tissue back to the heart except that pulmonary and umbilical veins, which carry oxygenated blood to the heart. Veins are less muscular than arteries and are often closer to the skin. There are valves in most of the veins to prevent backflow. What is the difference between arteries and veins? Arteries are the blood vessels carry blood from the heart that contain oxygen into that different part of the body, while veins is blood vessels which carries that in rich in carbon dioxide from the body organs to the heart. Next one is that artery has a thick walls as the blood pressure is quite high in these blood vessels, while in veins do not have thick walls as the blood pressure is quite low in them. They are narrow so that the blood can flow quickly through them, while in veins they are slightly wider than that arteries. In arteries, they do not contain walls that blood in arteries always flow in that right direction due to the pumping of the heart. While in veins, they contain walls that prevent the blood flow flowing in that opposite direction. Capillaries. These are the thinnest and finest blood vessels. The arteries branch into smaller arteries and finally into capillaries. The capillary unite to form that vein. The thin walls help in performing the following functions effectively. First one, collecting carbon dioxide and other waste from every cell and passing them into that alveoli and the kidney respectively. Next, collecting oxygen and digested food from the lungs and the small intestine and passing them to all the body cells for cellular respiration. Pulse and the pulse rate. The continuous pumping of blood in the arteries result in the rhythmic throbbing movement which is called pulse. Pulse rate is defined as the number of pulse beats per minute. The normal pulse rate of human being is 70 to 80 beats per minute. Heart. Heart is a muscular organ in human being and it is a cone shape which is base position upward and tapering down to the apex. It pumps blood through the blood vessels of the circulatory system. The heart is divided into four chambers, namely upper left atrium and right atrium and the lower left ventricles and right ventricles. The heart is supplied by the coronary circulation and is enclosed in a double membrane sac that we call as pericardium. The pericardium protects the heart and anchors it inside the chest. Between the outer layer and the inner layer, the serous pericardium that we call as pericardial fluid runs which lubricate the heart during the contraction and the movement of the lungs and the diaphragm. Heartbeat. The rhythmic contraction and relaxation of auricles and ventricle is known as heartbeat. Human heart beats about 72 times per minute. During